the effectiveness of that word becomes desensitized. I mean, it becomes dewatered. It almost does not carry much value anymore. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel again, and thank you so much. Thank you for the likes, thank you for the subscribing, thank you for the comments, thank you for the sharing. If you're not there, then what am I doing all these videos for? Thank you so much. So guess what we're talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about saying no to no. I know how it sounds, right? Saying no to no. Simply put, avoid saying no to your children as much as possible. Let me ask you a question. Are you a no parent? Are you the type of parent that you practically say no for everything? No, no, no. Why? Why? So let's look at the pros and the cons, and let's look at how we can, avoid saying no to our children as much as possible. First, I'm going to talk about baby-proof your home. Now, once you have a child, a baby, and then your baby is growing gradually, by the time your baby gets to the stage of moving about, crawling, naturally, the child will become more curious, the child will pull things, the child will touch this, the child will touch that. How many of you parents can relate to a situation whereby you're saying, no, don't touch that. Mama, don't touch that. Baba, drop it. No. And then, have you noticed that the more you say that no, the more daring the child actually becomes and wants to actually touch that thing you're saying no on? Most times, what makes that child stop is when you raise your voice to say, no, don't touch it, and the child is startled. That is when the child stops most times, which should not be. So, once you have a child as little as that, you do not want to bring up your children or your baby shouting, no, don't do this, no, don't touch that. No. How about you baby-proof your home? That is what is advised, that is what is recommended. So, simply put, baby-proof your home. Anything you do not want your child to lay hands on, take it out of the way. It's just natural. It's part of the child's development. If your child is just passing by things and not trying to touch this, not trying to touch that, shouldn't you check? I mean, you should be worried and check, is my child okay? Why is my child not? So literally, that's how they grow. That's how they develop, So anything you do not want them to touch, your decorative frames, the TV, hang it. Mommy, daddy, please help mommy hang it. Hang the TV. You do not want them to pull your beautiful flower vase decoration in the corner. Pack it up. You do not want them to take it away. Anything you do not want them to have access to, take it away from them so that you do not keep saying no to that child. See, I have my daughter, she's still an explorer. I call her Dami the Explorer. Named after Dora the Explorer. She wants to know what is this. She wants to try everything. She's so curious that if we had done a lot of saying, no, don't do this, no, don't do that. I mean, I can't even imagine. It will look as though, why are these people, rejecting me? It feels like an attack. The way you are seeing it is not the same way the child is seeing it. You are thinking you are protecting the child. Well, yes, in most cases you are. In other cases, it's like, just don't touch my stuff. Leave it and I still want it to be there, right? But you are limiting the child. If you continue saying no to your children, they will try out those things most times when you are not there. They want to find out what that no is for. When you are not there, that's when they become more curious and try to do other things that they will probably not do when you are there. And the truth is, children actually learn by doing. Children learn by doing things most times. They don't learn only by when you say, do this, do that. They learn by watching and by doing. Let me give you an example. So when my son was much more younger, even before he turned 1, when he started moving about, we have this electric kettle and all. And usually he would want to go to the electric kettle. I don't know why, maybe because the light comes on. He would want to go there. And I keep on saying, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. And then he would stop, sit down. try it again, stop, sit down, try it again. But one of those days, I just thought about it that, okay, let's see how this goes. Remember, I did it in love and cautiously. I left him, I didn't say anything. As he was moving close, he kept on looking back at me, waiting for me to divert his attention to something else. But I just kept on looking, and all he did was touch the body of the kettle and he snatched his hand back. Honestly, he never went back there. Even if the kettle was right in his face, he never ever went back there. So sometimes letting children explore, letting them to a certain boundary also is a learning process for them. Let me give you another example. Both my children have curious minds, honestly. And when they started playing the musical instruments, they have this recorder. They always have recorders because they also learn to play recorders in school. And the recorder, but that day, one of them came and said, "Oh, mommy, my recorder stick is broken." You know that stick thing that is in a recorder? I said, "My recorder stick is broken." I said, "How did it break?" And she said, "I was just trying to see if it could break, so I was bending it." My dear, there is nothing I have not seen or heard. Can you imagine? She was just trying to see if it could break. Well, I told her that wasn't right, that of course it will break. And do you know that there was a learning process there? And at a different time, coincidentally, my son tried the same thing. But then, when that particular set of recorder got damaged or got worn out and we bought a new one, it didn't happen again because their curiosity had been satisfied. You understand? I'm not saying that it is okay that they broke it, but there are some things that they only learn by doing. If they see any recorder instruments now, what will come to their mind will not be to test if it can break, because they know that it can break. So in this matter of saying no or avoiding saying no to your children, there are situations or there are times that you have to say an affirmative no. And I'm going to give you some examples. One, you tell them when it has to do with talking to strangers, no, you are not permitted to talk to strangers. You are not permitted to follow strangers anyway. Then you explain the cons of doing that. Those are situations where you can do or say an affirmative no. Another situation where you emphatically say no affirmatively to your children are times when you are talking about, inappropriate behavior, when people behave inappropriately towards them. For example, there are things that have to do with their private part, and you mention this private part of their body, exactly how they are, and if any adult or friend or whoever it is tell them, "Oh, touch me in my private part," those are situations you must emphatically tell them no. They must say no to. They must run and know that that is danger. Or if somebody is trying to do that to them, those are examples you need to give them and say an affirmative no to. So no's in this kind of examples and more should be a solid no. And if you're not a parent who says no to everything, they will know that the moment you say no to certain things, you are as honest and as serious as you can possibly be. And then they take it seriously. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some of the things research has said about saying no. But before I say that, the moment you say no to a lot of things, children practically the effectiveness of that word becomes desensitized. It becomes dewatered. It almost does not carry much value anymore. And then it decreases the effect of that word. And the outcome, the result of what you desire to actually say, the effect is decreased. And I read something, I actually tried to search for it, but I couldn't find it. I have seen 1 or 2 or 3 researches that I have looked into the cons of saying no to your children all the time. Now, by the time a child is a teenager, I can't remember the exact figures, but by the time a child is a teenager, if you are a no parent, imagine how many no's that child has heard. All through their lifetime. And psychology says in that research, which I read, that when children have heard no over a period of time, when they get to certain levels in real life situations, when they are mature, they're in a work situation, they're trying to make decisions, they're trying to take risks, the first thing that comes to their mind is no. The first thing that comes to their mind is doubt. Like, can I do it? Like, all the no's literally ring in their head. Maybe not literally, but all the no's come into play. All the no's they have heard. All the no's, don't touch it. No, don't try it. No, don't blame it. No, don't worry. Why? Let them take the risk. Let them know that there are, consequences for certain actions. Some are good, some consequences are not good, and some consequences are good. But they learn by actually trying. These studies have shown that no actually leads to more conflict, less competence, excessive struggles, and then challenging that child's independence. Let's talk about other alternatives instead of saying no. All right. Now, I remember when my daughter was not yet born, I think she was about 9 months, I traveled to Kaduna with my Abuja mom. We traveled to Kaduna together, and she was crawling, she was walking, yes, and standing, she was up and about. But I remember times that she would literally crawl under the chair in the living room, picking up dirt. Of course, what would be under the chair in the living room? Well, not necessarily, but she'd be picking up dirt and stuff like that. And all I need to do is, and then you probably could hear somebody say, no, don't touch that. But if I just tell her, oh, Dami, don't do that. Why don't you play with something else instead? Please come out. Try something else instead of doing that. My daughter was not yet one. She literally crawls back out from under the chair and tries something else. So whatever it is you want your children to do, start early. Don't say they are children. They don't know. They don't understand. They know. They understand. They are human beings. They are complete. Just as you, their parent, their guardian, their caregiver is complete. They are complete. They have wisdom. They have sense. Yes, they may not have grown their logical reasoning. They may not, of course, be as wise as you are because they haven't lived as long as you. But they understand. So instead of saying no, you can give alternatives, okay? Alternatives to what they can do instead of doing that thing you do not want them to do, but you still pass the same message and you still get the same result. Instead of saying solely no, some of the things you need to do is communicate effectively. Your concerns, your expectations must be clearly stated. And as much as possible, explain. Give them reasons why. Explain. Like I keep on saying, encourage open dialogue, active listening, mutual respect between you and your child. Let them know that they can come and talk to you about anything. Because what mutual respect does is that it fosters understanding between you and your children. It gives room for cooperation, and then you trust each other. You and your children will begin to trust each other. No must be used occasionally to establish boundaries and guide children's behavior. So there must be balance to all this, so that the no you say all the time does not become desensitized and has no value, so that the moment you say an affirmative and emphatic no, your children will know that no is no, because no is not something mom or dad uses regularly or often. There are other ways you can divert your attention. There are other ways you can discuss with them. There are alternatives you can give them. I'm hoping that this has, blessed one or two people, or you have learned one or two things from this. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. Bye.